recipe is going to be this delicious and creamy white pasta sauce. It is nut-free. It only has 3 simple main ingredients and it's ready in 10 minutes. And it's perfect to eat with pasta, lasagna, or pizza. First, you need to take a medium-sized pot and make sure it's nice and hot over medium-high heat. Then you're going to add 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. If you also want, you can use some other type of oil such as olive oil or grapeseed oil and melt it and make sure that it is hot before proceeding to the next step. Then add 2 tablespoons of white flour and start stirring with a whisk very vigorously and very fast until everything is well combined. This is very important. If you don't whisk this very fast and very vigorously with some energy, you will have some clumps of flour, which we would like to avoid. And cook this for about 30 seconds to a minute before going on to the step 3. Next, start adding non-dairy, unflavored, unsweetened milk and add it in small batches. So I added probably a 1/4 cup and stir this very quickly again, and then proceeding to add a little bit more at a time and stirring with my whisk very quickly. So in total for this recipe, you will need 2 cups of milk. I advise using either soy milk, almond milk, or cashew milk. Coconut milk may have a little bit too much of a coconut flavor, and oat milk may be a little bit too sweet for this recipe. Remember, this is a savory recipe for pasta, so we want to keep it that way, and we want to use unsweetened and unflavored milk. So here, just keep adding your milk a little bit at a time until all of the 2 cups are incorporated. And again, just keep stirring. Once you've added all of the milk, what I like to do next is take my wooden spoon and just keep stirring while cooking on medium-high heat. So after about 2 to 3 minutes, you will see that the sauce is starting to thicken a little bit. It's still a little bit thin, so we need to keep cooking it for a total of 10 minutes. I just wanted to show you the texture of the sauce as we keep cooking it. So this is about 5 to 7 minutes in. You will see that the sauce is definitely has thickened. And I would call this a pretty good consistency. So cook it for about 10 minutes. And then also remember that the sauce will thicken as it cools. And it's always going to be a little bit more liquid when it's hot. And that's basically it, guys. Our sauce is ready. So this is a very basic white sauce for any kind of recipe you want to make next. And our recipe here today is white pasta sauce, which is an Italian sauce. So I'm just transferring a little bit into a smaller dish, and I'm going to mix some of the spices here to create an Italian sauce. So what I have here is garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning. Instead of Italian seasoning, you can also use a basil, dried basil or fresh basil if you have it. You can add rosemary, you can add some thyme, which I don't really have on hand, so Italian seasoning with rosemary works just as well. And then lastly, you will also want to add a little bit of a cheesiness to the sauce, and what I will be using here is nutritional yeast. So add a little bit of that and then stir in until you have until you've achieved the desired taste. And don't forget to add some salt and freshly cracked pepper. So one thing I will note here is that it's always best to over season the salt a little bit, just because you will be adding this to pasta and it's going to be spreading out a little bit. So basically you're not going to be eating the sauce on its own, you're going to be eating it with something else, and you want it to be have a little bit of a deeper flavor. So keep adding spices until it has a desired consistency. In my recipe I have all of the measurements for the spices that you will need for this recipe. So what I have here is a bowl of freshly cooked pasta, And I'm going to start adding a tablespoon of our sauce at a time until I've mixed it and I have desired consistency for my dish. And this is something you can also do for your family when you're serving dinner at a table. You can put the sauce separately and everybody can just kind of mix it in to the pasta of their choice. So this sauce is very also delicious with not only with pasta, but you can use it to make lasagnas. You can use it to make pizza with this white sauce or gnocchi. So the possibilities are really endless here. And another piece is that you can also customize some of the spices that you add to it, which is also pretty cool. So a topping suggestion for this would be I'm here adding a little bit more of basil and freshly cracked pepper, and you also can add some fresh vegan Parmesan cheese. And I have recipe for vegan Parmesan on the blog as well if you want to check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed today's recipe. And don't forget, if you make this recipe today or anytime over the next 2 weeks while our challenge is ongoing, feel free to post it in our Facebook group, and I will be doing a giveaway of my cookbooks, which are 10 vegan meals in an hour.